All right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention.
I started breathing through my belly when I did the acting thing, because they'll tell you to breathe through your belly. Sometimes, some coaches will.
Singers also, they start, there's I think the Alexander method, I think it's called. There's somebody who was an actor, actually came up with that. Because he started losing his voice, it became less powerful. When I was training with the O2 trainer, the prototype, at restaurants, my wife would say, keep your voice down. All the time. And I go, what am I doing? I'm not speaking loud. But I realized and now we have singers and trumpet players and every horn instrument player. Everybody's using it because it's more power. I had a review from Chris Mostert. He's the sax player from the Eagles.
Yeah.
And he said that he had longer and stronger notes. The reviews are insane. It's all 4.5, 5-star reviews. Or a person comes, like last week I had somebody says, oh, the thing, I gave it a 2-star because the flap was sticking out. I said, well, the flap actually sticks out for a reason. Because I trained with this prototype. And when they gave it to me, they said, how thick do you want to make the flap? I said, I just make it thick for now. So when I got the prototype, I realized, this may be a little bit too thick and it sticks out. But let's try it out, see what happens. And what I realized is that once you breathe in, you have to do it with a lot of power. If you don't use a lot of power, you hear air slipping in from this side, which forces you to put the pressure on, so to say, to do it harder. Now, if you want to get rid of it, it's very simple because there's a washer inside here. I don't know for the people to see, plastic washer. You take this out and then the whole slipping part is gone. But I suggest that pretty much 95% of the people leave this thing in because it will actually help you, because every time when
make you work harder.
Makes you work harder, and that's what you want to do. So training the breathing muscles is one of the most important things you can do in the body. Recouping better, anxiety, PTSD, back problems. That's why I told you, you're going to have to start doing it because it aligns your back as well because you put so much pressure on it. There's a lot of core pressure. I have guys buying them now for their abs because they could never have abs, and now they have abs. My core is so freaking thick right now, but I've been doing it for 3.5 years. It's bizarre how strong it is right now, but you feel it with everything. You recoup faster. It's good for sleep. Whatever you want to use it for, it works. It's amazing.
Honestly, did you say that you first came up with this when you were just a young man?
Yes, when I was 14. Yeah, I was 14 years old. Normally I have my keychain with me, and what I had on my keychain I have a washer, like a little metal washer, because that's my reminder. That was my first O2 trainer, because I would put that washer in front of my teeth and I would try to breathe in through that little tiny hole.
That little hole.
But then I thought, this is very dangerous because if it shoots in your freaking lungs, if it's in your lung, that's it. You can't Heimlich it out. You're dead. So I thankfully I stopped doing that. And then what sparked my interest was when Vanderlei Silva was one of the coaches on The Ultimate Fighter. And I used to call this thing, that was the idea I had. I didn't make it yet. They called it the Ruttenizer. That was the name, the Ruttenizer. Ruttenizer, we thought it was a great name. And suddenly he shows his students training with snorkel devices. And what he is doing, he's rebreathing carbon dioxide, and that will trigger a little bit of your red blood cells. That's what swimmers do as well. And if you do that long enough, you get a little raise in your red blood cells in your body. So my phone went nuts. Everybody's texting me, dude, you got to make the Ruttenizer because somebody's going to make it. Somebody's going to make it. And that actually put me on the path to say, okay, maybe I should make it, because what if somebody else comes with it? Right. So, and I made it, and all these results are just crazy right now.
It's great.
Yeah.
Shit. How are your sales going?
The sales are going good. We've been hit by COVID really hard. We were selling so much in 2020, and then in August it went so good, and we made them in China. And I saw these crazy camps over there with people working, kids working, and I don't want to do this anymore. I want to make it an American-made product. So this one now is made in America, but there was so much crap with the COVID. I ordered a new one in August 2020. And they were ready 6 weeks ago. So, and this is not even there's another model coming that was the original that I wanted to have. This is a backup that I made because I said, okay, let's make a real good one right now, with fine-tuning caps in there. It's a long story. But anyway, this one was first ready, and now hopefully in 3 months, 4 months, the other one is going to come out as well.
So there's like different levels.
There's different levels. The other one is you're going to have to turn a knob, and then the level gets smaller. I like this because these ones have really fine tooth. This is a millimeter, and then this is 1.5 millimeter. Before I didn't have that. I went from 1 till 2. But the difference from 1 to 2 millimeter, although it's a really tiny hole, it's a big difference.
Right.
Like 30 repetitions with 2 millimeter, I would do, let's say, in 3 minutes. And if I do 1 millimeter, it would take 6.5, 7 minutes. So I thought, I got to find something in between there. So that's why we did 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. And from that moment on, everything goes 1 millimeter up.
So you bend over and then you come up. And
Yeah.
You know.
What you're doing is you put it in your mouth, you breathe out, you exhale first, you bend at your diaphragm level, that pushes a lot of air out, and then you completely lean forward. Then you start inhaling with explosive power, and then you try to time it in such a way that once you sit up straight, that's the end of your inhale. Now, these muscles, these are the ones that you train with that exercise. Then is an exercise number 2. This, by the way, takes 4 minutes a day. This is not a big thing. One day I do exercise number 1, which attacks these muscles, and exercise number 2 attacks your back breathing muscles. Now, your back breathing muscles, almost nobody uses. Once I started incorporating that was Dr. Belisa told me, you got to do that. Then my stamina went straight to the roof. It was the difference was bizarre. The thing is with people at home, if you have an auto trainer, you do for the very first time, you do exercise, the back breathing exercise. It's exercise number 2, we call it. Don't do 30 repetitions. I was that idiot who did that. And since you never use those muscles, dude, I walked around for 5 days in intense pain. Like I worked my back really freaking hard. So just do 10. Don't call your ego. Don't, just do 10. The next time 15, then do 20. And from that moment on, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. Yeah. Well, work yourself into it. That's what I would suggest. And talking about breathing, so people have a little bit of an idea. You know that there was a bunch of monks in Japan. They would meditate for 9 years. They would not run. They wouldn't do anything. Meditate and breathing exercises. These guys, you're not going to believe this. I couldn't believe it. They can run 200 miles in 24 hours, 2 days straight.
Really?
8.3 miles an hour. Think about this. It's freaking crazy. I mean, you can look this all up. I mean, it's insanity. There was a chief. What is it? There was an Indian chief who actually could be the guy who broke the first 4-minute mile, the record. He did it. Apparently, they timed him in 3:58. He did it. He did it before Bannister did. Sir Roger Bannister, I think is his name. Yeah. He was the first guy who broke the 4-minute mile. But also that guy, he ran 120 miles. 2 times he did this, apparently, within 24 hours, but in the mountains barefoot. I mean, think about that. But it's all breathing. They're focused on their breathing. Once you supply your body with the oxygen it needs, what's going to happen if you get a surgery? Do they take oxygen away or give you more? Of course they give you more. You see what I mean? Everything works better with more oxygen.
Like the hyperbaric chamber, yeah.
That's it, that hyperbaric chamber. And especially if you go under 1 or 2 bars and you breathe through pure oxygen, that's actually natural EPO. Then it stores into your system. This is not, a lot of the breathing devices, they say, it's the same as high altitude training. It's a complete lie. This is not it. But this is actually better because this trains your muscles. So now you delay the onset fatigue, and you're going to be able to have a higher workload for a longer period of time because you train those muscles. Talking about gassing, when you gas, you know what that is, that feeling of gassing? This you can find in medical books. This is what I'm going to say right now. Gassing is oxygenated blood leaving your limbs to support your breathing muscles, because those are the number 1 priority in the body, because nobody trains those muscles. It's called blood stealing. That's literally a medical term, blood stealing. It steals the blood from all the limbs to support the breathing muscles. So once you start training those, and you can only train them with a resistance device like the O2 trainer, unless you do that, you're going to run out of gas all the time. It's inevitable. Evitable. That word I still don't get, man. I'm living 23 years here, and sometimes I still miss on that one. The gracious, I heard that say.
Is this something that you use in your training for upcoming fights, for example?
No, this was the thing. Yeah, for you. Yeah, for a person, if you do this before your fight, I would start 6 weeks out. And this is also I have these published medical journals on my website, so you can see. Oh, this is not me. This is literally published medical journals. You can't doctor. You know, it is what it is. Whatever they say, that's the truth, because nobody can do something with it. And they say that if you do this twice a day for 6 weeks, and after that you can maintain it by just doing it 1 time a day, twice a day. And after that, you can do it. After 6 weeks, you can maintain it by once a day. You take care of all the lactic acid in your core. And now you're going to go, yeah, what is that going to do? Well, the more tight you are in your core, the less you can expand. And you need chest expansion to have full capacity of your lungs. If all the lactic acid is gone, then you can breathe much freer. How many times when you guys didn't train for, let's say, 3 months, and you go back, the first workout is a freaking unbelievable workout, right? It's always the best. But then the second day, because now all the body aches, everything is hurting again. What happens is all these muscles are relaxed. You can just simply breathe easier. That's what happens if you take all the lactic acid out of your body. And people who think that they don't need it, think about this. After the age of 29, this is, and again, I'm telling you this the whole time because otherwise you're going to go, yeah, this guy just makes it up. You can look this all up. After the age of 29, your chest flexibility, so thoracic flexibility, and your lung volume are at its peak, at best. That's great news, but the bad news of that is that after the age of 29, unless you add breathing work to your routine, it's going to go downhill. So the amount of oxygen that you move in and out of your body is going to decrease. And the only way to do it is doing breathing exercises, and especially breathing exercises with resistance.
So it's like having a midget strangle you or something.
Pretty much around your chest.
Yeah.
You know what the fun thing is?
Fat woman sitting on your chest, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, no. But listen, this is a fun thing. So a long time ago, I won a fight with the Bas Rutten neck rank. There was a move that I made up, and what I did from Scarfold, I have his head, and then I would grab a leg, I would grab the inside of my leg, and I would wrap him around my body. And I told everybody in the dressing room, Frank Shamrock, Guy Metzger, everybody was there. I said, watch, I'm gonna finish this guy with the Bas Rutten neck rank. I came up with a new move. And 4 minutes later, I got him in the Bas Rutten neck rank. Now, at that time, I didn't know anything how body worked. You know what I did? I stopped his chest from expanding.
Yeah.
So I stopped him from breathing.
Right.
That's how I won the fight. Because if you can't expand your chest, you can't breathe. And people go like, is that true? Breathe out, close your nose, and try to expand your chest. You can't. You can't expand your chest. You can only expand it if all the airways are open.
Okay, here's a question there from a competitor's perspective right now. You're in a, let's say you're a UFC match, something like this, or just any standard MMA match today. You do a 5-minute round or 3-minute round, and you get your 1-minute break in between. Do you think that trainers should incorporate some type this breathing device straight at 1 minute?
No, yeah, no, 100%. They all should. Listen, I got rid of these breathing exercises. It started with the trainer from Usain Bolt and 3 other gold medalists. He contacted me. Oh no, he wrote a bad review about my competition. And I called my manager and I say, hey, call
what competition?
I'm not going to say the name. The competition from a breathing device as well. I don't want to tear him apart. But anyway, he wrote a really bad review about him. And I told my manager, my manager calls me and he says, hey, did you read the review? I said, no, but I can guarantee you it's a bad review. He said, how do you know? I said, because they control the air in and out, which simultaneously is not a good thing, because if you breathe out with resistance, you can never empty your lungs. And if you breathe in with resistance, you can never really fill them up because it's with resistance. So you're kind of breathing shallow, so to say. I said, but do me a favor. Try to contact that guy and see, I want to send him a note to trainer. And he goes, do you want to do that? What if he writes a bad review? I go, we're curing asthma right now. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a bad review. He calls the guy. And the guy, he says, hey, I'm representing Bas Rutten. The guy goes, O2 trainer, we're already using that. First thing he said. So now I got in contact with him. Chad Masias is he. Very freaking high-level trainer. And he started telling me about the breathing exercise. And that was the front core breathing exercise. And then once I got in contact with Dr. Belisa Vredic, and I'm doing a course right now as well. That's why all these numbers, and that's why I know exactly what the diaphragm is, because it's all in her books. She has this really great book, Breathing for Warriors. You really, if you're into breathing, you should check that out. But then she told me, you got to do the back breathing exercise as well. And once I start combining those two, boom, that was it.
So I bet you feel a lot better then too.
It makes you and recoup from everything better. You sleep better. You can better inhale. I mean, it's the anxiety. I didn't know. Of course, if you think about it, anxiety is bad breathing.
Right.
Stop breathing, that's anxiety. You know, what it also does is training your breathing muscles. It activates the parasympathetic state. And the parasympathetic nervous system, that's the nervous system that gets you calm. What do they always say before they go in, the cops, you know, or the military? They go, I took a deep breath, you know, because it lowers your heart rate, it lowers your blood pressure, takes down the cortisol levels. You know, that's what happens. And you can only get that if you breathe diaphragmatically. That's what they call it, breathing through your diaphragm, or horizontal breathing. That's another name for it.
Well, I'll give you a little breathing story here, Bas, if you don't mind. I'll regale you the story, because I wasn't one of these guys that went in any of these long training camps.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I only ever did 2 training camps in my entire career. Once for 32 days, and once for 35 days. That was it. I mean, for a couple of different reasons. I mean, there was no real money, so I kind of looked at it. I'm just like a journeyman. Sure, I was doing all my other stuff, and then I'd run off, do a match here, run off, do a match there. But during the no holds barred, I could not implement this, because you either had it or you didn't have it at that point. But when they finally started incorporating rounds, I kept thinking, who's going to breathe better? A person who's sitting down on a stool slumped forward, and now again, everything is kind of collapsed and impeded and stuff like this. You got someone who's in your face. You got people doing all this and that to you. I always would stand up tall. I would put my hands on top of my head, and I was breathing deeply into all the way through my chest and my stomach and stuff like that, back and forth. First off, knowing that I'm getting better breathing than what my opponent's getting, but the psychological aspect is, the fact is, they're looking over there and they're seeing that old guy isn't sitting down.
Yep, 100%.
He must not be tired. I'm like, sure, I'm tired, but am I going to tell them that? No,
Yep.
I'm sucking air from every orifice of my body at that point in time.
Yeah, and you're 100% right, because if you're sitting crunched, you can't use your core really to do it. And we're all like the same, right? As a fighter, everything needs to be tight because you want to show your abs, you want to go.
Right.
Well, the tighter your pants, the less you can breathe.
Yeah.
And we were knocked it up, remember, when we were fighting? We're such idiots. I mean, if you see that clip where I'm breathing, and then if you see me doing this now, at the same pace, whatever I do, it's insane. When Lyoto Machida called me and he says, it's so weird, my muscles get tired, my breathing not. And this is what I told my wife every single time. I go, it is so weird. My muscles never got tired in fighting. It was always my breathing couldn't catch up. Now it's the other way around, because it can keep going and eventually your muscles are getting tired, you know. But it's a way better feeling because you breathe diaphragmatically and nice and relaxed. Listen, both you guys I brought for both of you one. You really have to do it. If you do this for 30 days straight, which is only 4 minutes a day, I don't think you're going to stop anymore. I totally believe. And for the asthma and COPD patients at home, if you do this 30 days straight and your asthma or COPD is not 70% gone or entirely gone, I give you your money back. That's my guarantee. The thing is, though, I need to see 30 videos of you actually doing the exercise, because you know people, right? Yeah. If I say now 4 minutes, you're going to go, 4 minutes, it's easy. It's a workout. You're going to feel this. I mean, you're going to feel your core muscles a lot.
Every fighter, wrestler knows that 30 seconds is a long time.
Exactly.
15 seconds is a long time.
So most of the time what I do is before I work out, I do it. Or sometimes after a power training workout, I do it. But if you do core exercises, don't do the O2 trainer afterwards. I realize it's not a good combination. You want to do before. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going to plug it several times through there, but if people want to know where they can get this device, where people tune into, was there like a website or
O2 Trainer, O2trainer.com. Go there. You say, I wrote a few things down. The breathing IQ. You know what my breathing? Go to thebreathingiq.com. This is where you can test what your breathing IQ is. Most people probably have 60. I had 181. They've never seen anything like it when she measured me. She said, yeah, that's it's unheard of. 100% is good. I have a 181. So that's, and these are real numbers, guys. This is nothing that I make up. Also, that video that I say, 55 seconds going from 345, you can see all the video. If you go back on my Facebook page, you will see that video of me doing it with the time underneath, everything written at that time, And now you see me doing it in 55 seconds. It's crazy.
But you said that the breathingIQ.com, that will take you to your device, but a lot of good information as well.
No, for me, go to o2trainer.com or say Bas with a lung training device. It will pop up. But, the great thing would be if you, for instance, go to the breathing IQ, check your own IQ, then get an O2 trainer, and a month later do it again. See what happens. I guarantee you'll double your number.
Yeah.
Is that big of a difference? It depends. If you're already a diaphragmatic breather, then it will be less, of course, because then you breathe. Then you're one of the 5% of the people who are actually breathe the correct way.
Okay, and you're saying O2 trainer.
Yes, O2. Trainer. But just to make sure I did 02 trainer, I also have that linked to that same website because I know people are going to do that. Yep.
Yeah, because I look at it, okay, O2. You were saying it sometimes so fast, I kept thinking, I better write this down. There's
O2,
other people that are maybe not as fast as what you are. Okay.
Well, it's all starts slowing down, guys. We know that, right? Our age. I was just laughing. You remember before? You sit down, I sit down, you, and everybody's going, I go, look at us now.
Yeah.
56 years old. Pain everywhere.
Shit.
It's so crazy.
20 years ago when Katie, my oldest, when she was 1 or 2 years old, I came home from from Japan, and she's sitting down. And she's what the hell is she doing? She's imitating me.
Yeah.
That's the noise I make when I sit down.
I used to, when I had to watch the baby by my firstborn, and my wife would be at work, I would put her she's in the box. In Holland, you have these boxes where you can put them in and can play in there, right?
Yeah.
But I will put the weights in the same room so I can keep an eye on her and I do weights. But suddenly she started growling. And I realized she was, but it was because me was going,
Yeah.
She started imitating me, same as her. My mother goes, you make a monster out of her.
Yeah, it's good. It's okay to have a tomboy as a daughter, though. That's there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Yeah, better than the complete opposite.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it's okay to have a tomboy as a girl, but it's not okay to have a tom girl. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm gonna come to your house.